the NFC and the AFC have two completely different ways of roster construction, and it's so crazy. You see, in the AFC, it's elite QB talent, and the team is carried by the elite QB talent. It's elite QB talent, great defense, but it's mostly like you win games by your quarterback. You live and die by your quarterback in the AFC. If your quarterback had a worse game than the other quarterback, you're going to lose the game. Because the QB talent is so elite there that that's only, and it mostly has something to do with how they're paid. You can't really build that much of a roster since your quarterback's making so much, and that's why the Chiefs always win, because they have the most elite quarterback. And then the Ravens always in that conversation, the Bills are always in that conversation, but they don't have the best quarterback, so they always lose. Because if you go by the AFC model, only the best quarterback will win. It's literally a battle royale for quarterbacks. You'd have to outplay the other quarterback in order to win in the AFC. Versus in the NFC, it's elite teams with not subpar, not mediocre, but the quarterbacks just aren't as good as in the AFC. And that's okay, that's fine to say. But it's everywhere else is elite. It's elite teams with average quarterbacks, not average, but above average quarterbacks, not the elite quarterbacks, but they're mostly elite. They get elite production out of them, but because of their team is so good. While AFC is carried by a quarterback, NFC is team quarterback carried by team. Yeah, quarterback carried by team. For example, the Eagles, elite everywhere, elite on every part of the ball, everywhere. You can't say look at one part of look at one part of the Eagles and say, yeah, they're lacking in this part. They're not. You look at the Lions when they're healthy. It's the same thing. You can't look at the Lions and say, well, they're really lacking on this part. They're not. You look at the 49ers. You can't really look at them and say, well, they're really lacking on this part. They're not, except for the quarterback position. And we saw that the other day with the Eagles, and it was yesterday, with the Eagles and Commanders. Jalen Daniels played a better game than Jalen Hurts, but the Commanders lost that game. Because the team wasn't as good. In the AFC, I feel, but if you put the Commanders in the AFC, it's really how good does Jaden Daniels stack up against everybody else? How good does Jaden Daniels stack up against Stroud, against Herbert, against Lamar, against Josh Allen, against Patrick Mahomes? But he plays in the NFC. So how good does the Commanders team stack up against Eagles? But not besides quarterback. But yeah, besides quarterback. Take the quarterback out of the equation. How good is your team compared to mine? How good can your team function compared to mine? How good is your system compared to mine? That's the difference in the AFC and the NFC. You see elite quarterback play, and in the AFC, oh yeah, the quarterback has to make a play. The quarterback has to do this. The quarterback has to do that. You don't expect that at the NFC. It's entirely matchup dependent, and that's why I find the Super Bowl so I love watching the Super Bowl because you see the difference in how the rosters are constructed. Recently, Mahomes has shown that having an elite quarterback with not subpar team, but not having an elite quarterback without an elite team is good. But see, Mahomes is kind of in the middle, right? Because when Mahomes signed his deal, it was record breaking, 500 M's over 10 years. But now it's a middle of the pack deal. They were ahead of the curve. See, it being over 10 years, it allowed them to not only have the elite quarterback, and have the elite team. Not no one else can really do that because the contract is, well, except for the Eagles, because they kind of pushed their the contract back on the later years. So in the later years of Jalen Hurts' contract, then it's gonna start to hurt him, to open up the Super Bowl window even longer. But yeah, it's so the Chiefs are the only one who's able to properly using both systems. They are the avatar. That's why they win so much. They have the elite quarterback who is getting paid a lot, yeah, but not getting paid as much as the people around him. Joe Burrow is making more money. Josh Allen's making more money. Lamar Jackson's making more money. Herbert's making more money. So their team's not going to be as good as the Chiefs. So they have to be a lot more elite than Mahomes has to be. Their margin of error is a lot smaller than Mahomes because his team can be good. His team can be good because they don't have to. They don't have to trade players for the pay cut. They don't have to let players walk for them not to get paid. You know what I'm saying? So I wanna keep looking at this team further, because even with this football, Mahomes versus Eagles, it's the pinnacle. It's the two best. It's two, not of course the two best teams, but it's the two like best at this model. Amazing team with not average quarterback, but you can obviously tell how this quarterback is like propped up by his team. You put Jalen Hurts on, let's say you put Jalen Hurts on the Chargers, I don't believe they're a playoff team. I don't think they make it to the playoffs. But in his system, he's elite. Versus Mahomes, he is the system. He is the team. He's the guy. So I don't know. It's definitely, but Jalen Hurts did outplay Mahomes last time. But anyway, I don't know. What am I saying? I don't know for, but yeah, it's interesting to watch, and it's something I'm gonna keep my eye on, and how you construct rosters in the NFC versus the AFC. Got a blast.